Hello, hello, my wonderful dragon folk. You guys know what time it is. It is time for more Clash Bash goodness for our Season 1 of the Clash Bash League. If you guys have not already seen a lot of the videos here starting off, I do have a ton of content from the league on my own perspective. For videos like this, I like to go over my playstyle, go over the games that I personally had played, and then kind of talk about how I did good, what I could have done better, and how to properly change my playstyle, and really just do a nice review of how these heroes rank in the Clash format. So today, I'm going to be on Ira, the Crimson Haze, going against my opponent Henry as KO Berserker Runt. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so I went ahead and won the die roll here. So I am going to go ahead and choose to go first, just because I can play Kodachis and rip stuff out of their hand if they're trying to block. I feel like I definitely should have gone second in this case. Ninjas normally would like to go second, just because then they get to do stuff for, and rip cards from my opponent's hand. But I decided to go first. I'm running a little bit more of a defensive version of Ira. And so I don't run like Crouching Tigers or anything really insanely powerful. It's mainly just the normal thing you would find in Commoner, kind of a swing Kodachi, come in for an attack. And in this situation, I go ahead and just bring out a 1-2 punch. Kind of just want to play things out if I can and really power through. They go ahead and they end up getting a gold token because they are playing a a test of strength there. Now, KO Berserker Runt's very interesting. For those of you who don't know, this is not like KO, the original KO, or the new KO, where it's a lot more about creating might tokens and having your cards have additional attack value in the main deck and in the hand. Instead, this is KO where every time you play an attack with 6 or more power, you actually roll a dice. And if you get a 5 or a 6, the attack power is base doubled. So 6s turn into 12s. And if it's a 1 through 4, it becomes a halved cost. So 6s become 3s in that case. Now, as you see here, I'm getting pummeled, which is awful for me. But I'm going to go ahead and just block out a good portion of this. I can't really do much in regards to this power level. But I am going to discard a Bonds and keep it in here. Now, the version that I am actually playing, I'm trying out a little bit of a different thing here. I think I definitely took out a lot of the like 2-cost things, and I kept a lot of combo cards in. But I believe Bonds of Ancestry and I believe I keep Descendant Gust Waves in here too. I do not really end up playing them a whole lot. I don't believe the Descendant Bonds concept in Ira is very good, because you just never know when you're going to run into them. But they go ahead and play a Cash In. Cash In's super great with all these new gold generating effects. They're going to play a Ready to Roll, which is the KO specialization from, I want to say, Everfest. It allows them to essentially roll a dice twice and remove the lowest roll. This is going to help them in case they are going to come in for a really powerful attack. Now, this is really scary because they come in with a Wreck Havoc. This is like CNC, but at home. And it comes in for 14. They end up doing a 6. And that's insane to me. So I end up really, really losing out on the concept of being like, okay, I really can't take any damage here. All the stuff in my hand blocks for nearly nothing because I pulled a bunch of head jabs. So I have to take a ton of damage here. And that's not what you want. Now, my opponent, for some reason, decides to undo their turn. I think that was honestly a mistake. This is really weird, though, in certain situations, because your dice rolls might not have been the same according to that. So you don't really want people undoing when they do bad on a dice roll. But the dice roll still worked out to be exactly the same. They're now going to come in with Ball Breaker. They didn't discard a 6, so they are not going to get a +1 on a Ball Breaker. and I'm just going to take 3 more damage and hope for the best. My turn here is pretty much going to be just try and put in a little bit of pressure. I'm going to come in with a Harmonized Kodachi for 1, a Harmonized Kodachi for 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and end my turn. The Bonds of Ancestry in my arsenal is like garbage. It's not doing me any good right now, and frankly, I don't know whether or not it ever will be doing me any good. My opponent is then going to go ahead and Intimidate a card from my hand. Not something you want to see, especially when you have something, you don't really have a ton of blocking power. And so if I happen to have a Flick Flag, it would have been really good for them. They did play a Pack Hunt and they rolled a 4, which means that Pack Hunt's power is reduced, but it is also brought up due to Barraging Beatdown's effect. So not terrible. I get to come in with a Surging Strike here. In retrospect, I should have attacked with a Kodachi and then attacked with Surging Strike, because 6 is a lot more scary than, 2, but totally understandable. I think a lot of people, they see the Surging Strike and they expect a Bonds turn, and I just don't, I don't present that here. So, but of course you always have to keep your opponent guessing. So I think that's really the big takeaway from all of it. So 5 is coming in. My opponent is, I believe, having some technical issues, but they're going to go ahead and block out as efficiently as they can. Obviously, 5 damage is, a decent amount, especially since KO already starts with less life than Ira does, but not by much. They're looking to get as much value out of the cards they have. It looks like they're clashing a lot because KO, while he is not like the new KO, where all of his stuff has additional power, KO does still run a lot of 6s in the deck. So you're expected to lose, especially going into Ninja. You're expected to lose clashes. So my Surging Strike goes off totally without a hitch. I then get to go ahead and swing with Kodachi. And then the plan is to pitch for Bonds and play Bonds. But I don't do that. Instead, I play a Kodachi again. And I just kind of run with it, because I don't have Gust Wave cards to have Bonds go off, which is unfortunate for me. I should have probably Pop Vest there when Surging Strike hit, so I could have gotten some extra resources. This is another Wreak Havoc that he also gets 12 off of, or he gets to double the power of this one. So I can't block for much here. I have to block for 9 and go down to 1. Now, 8 to 1, all they need is one really powerful roll on their turn. If they roll a 5 or a 6, or they play another ready to roll, and it doesn't work out in their favor, they win. But they come in for 3 because they lost a die roll there. It's all based on luck with KO Berserker Runt. You never know when you're going to get hit with some nasty, nasty stuff. And so I get to comfortably block for 3 here. I'm not going to use my Flick Flag for anything. I need to get this Bonds out of my arsenal, because this is insane how long this has been in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just do the normal Kodachi nonsense, right? Make sure they try to block some stuff. I'm going to play Be Like Water. Be Like Water is going to come in for 4, which is a good break point. I can then go ahead and make this a different card name if it hits, but it doesn't hit. They block 5. And I'm like, well, do I Kodachi? Do I pop gold? Like, what could I do? But I need to get Bonds out of my arsenal. So I go ahead and swing Bonds. No Bonds effect on this one. It's just 4 damage. But I needed to get it out of there because I want this Flick Flag in my arsenal as opposed to anything else. So they've got an agility and a might token on their turn, which is just like nuts for me. They roll a Barkbone Strapping and get a 1, which means they don't get any resources. They then play a Pulping and roll a 2. So now this is 4 Dominate. That's still very terrifying, but I do have, I did have a Flick Flag in Arsenal, so I could have just done something else, but I should have just Flick Flagged there, but I didn't. I decided to block with a card from hand instead. I don't know why I had that thought process of why that was going to happen, but it is what it is, I guess. My opponent then is going to come in with a Ball Breaker, so that's pretty simple. Just a 4 attack pulping with a 4-attack ball breaker. I'm going to block this one out again. And I'm going to try to just come in with Kodachi. We're getting closer and closer to Kodachi lock here. Technically with Ira, they're in Kodachi lock now. So they aren't going to need to block a lot more. This next Kodachi is going to come in for lethal, if that is to happen. And I do have a Flick Flack in my arsenal in case I need to, block out a really powerful attack next turn. I did just have a ton of Flick Flacks in my hand at the time, which was incredibly bad for me. But if my opponent decides to roll a 6 or a 5 on their next 6 power attack, they still have a pretty good chance of winning, considering how many things in my deck block for 2 outside of a Flick Flack. So yeah, here we go. A lot of 2 blocks in my hand. Not too much I can do here, but they do only roll a 4, which means Reincarnate only comes in for 3. I can comfortably just block this with something. I need to be able to attack with Kodachis, and I don't have anything with a 0 cost in my hand, which is so incredibly unfortunate for me, because with nothing with 0 cost in my hand, it just sucks. Now, what I should have done is not blocked with that blue, and I should have kept the blue in hand so that I could pay for a gold to possibly get a blue 0 cost to attack with Kodachis. But I didn't do that. Instead, I just kept blocking with cards from hand, and I hope for the best. So, block with the ball breaker there. We waited out. I'm going to go ahead and pitch for the gold with my 2 reds. I end up getting a Whirling Mist Blossom, which doesn't do me any good, mind you. But I'm still going to pitch it for Kodachi. No go again. But it is still lethal, so they are going to have to block it. Now we've got a lot better here, right? There's our blue 0 block. Again, they roll a 4 on their pulping. Very unfortunate for them. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I'll just hang out, right? Assault and Battery's coming in. They roll a 3 on that. They're not rolling very good. This next turn is going to be the one in which I take it, because I have to at this point, right? I roll in. They're in Kodachi lock. They can't take this damage, otherwise they die. And it's just going to be a matter of me stripping cards from their hands. So Kodachi, get that out of there. I'm going to come in with a Whelming Gust Wave for 3. They're going to have to block 3. And then I can go ahead. What I should have done here is hit the Breaking Scales. And I should have Breaking Scales into that. That would have killed him. But I didn't. I didn't do it. I just decided to not. And that was so stupid of me, because I should have just popped Breaking Scales. So again, we hit him with the Kodachi lock. We then come in with a Surging Strike for 6. They block all 6. I come in with another Kodachi, which I'm pretty sure I come in with another Kodachi. I did play a Surging Strike recently, so that does have go again. And then I can just swing in for 1 for game. It was probably, I would imagine that was probably the messiest way I could have ever played Ninja a day in my life. And frankly, as of the recording of this video, I've changed that Ira list a lot more just like strict combo cards, 0 costs, block 3s. That's all I really care about. So that's what I end up keeping in the deck. The Descendant Gust Wave, Bonds of Ancestry build is a lot more offensive, but unless I end up getting the combo naturally, there's not really too much I can do with that. And so because of that, I don't really worry too much about it, but I do end up taking the game there and taking down the KO Berserker Runt. That deck, I love KO Berserker Runt. Very, very great deck. And honestly, Brute just got a lot of stuff from heavy hitters, so they do have a ton of support for a deck like KO Berserker Runt. And I mean, as you saw, 2 Wreck Havoc turns turned into a 12 and a 14 as far as damage is concerned. And that's a lot for a lot of, that's a lot for a Guardian even. Like Guardians often are just like, wow, that's a scary number. I need to block that. Now Guardians can probably block that a lot more efficiently than Ira can, but they can block it. So very interesting matchup. I'd be curious to see what kind of builds come up. Maybe I'll make a KO Berserker Runt build and put it on the channel here. I think that'd be kind of fun to see. But let me know what you guys thought about the matchup in the comments down below. Obviously, you can all laugh at me about how I should have won the game with the the breaking scales on that Whelming Gust Wave. I can't believe I didn't do it, but I just forgot. It was just in the moment. But let me know what you guys think. Also, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys have not already. We are zooming pretty close to 2,000 subscribers, and if we do end up hitting 2,000 subscribers by the time Part the Mistveil comes out, I hope to do a giveaway for Part the Mistveil and do a nice little, maybe a box giveaway. We are also going to be doing double points for those giveaways for our channel members, which shout out to our channel members for continuing to support the channel in a super, super awesome way. It means a lot to me that you'd support me in such a way, and I hope to continue to bring you new and fun content for all of your eyes to see. So thank you guys so much for watching. Continue to have fun in the flesh and blood, and I will see you all very soon. Nerd out.